Okay, we're moving on to our activity 2. What are we doing?
Activity 2.
We are going to practice our multiplications and our divisions with some word problems. So I want us to get started here. This first guy has kind of a fun name, Raymundo. You guys probably would like to see my board, huh?
No.
Here we go. Numero uno. Raymundo has 9 dimes. How many cents does he have? Now, if he has 9 dimes, and it says we're doing problems with tens, where does my 10 come from?
I don't know.
Oh, check those squeaky chairs. That's not a good listening position. Aha, there we go. Where does my 10 come in here? Rio.
It says it has 9 dimes and dimes are 10. Then that means you have 90
Those are the answers yet. I'm not ready for it. But where did the 10 come from? How did you know I was going to have 10 in the equation? What told you that? The dime. So I'm going to underline dimes. That's definitely key language in this one. Go ahead and read this problem only one more time with me because this is a pretty short one. Ready? Raymundo has 9 dimes. How many cents does he have? Oh, what is some other key information, Gunner? I know that there's dimes, which are groups of 10.
How many cents? 10 times 9?
Oh, so you're noticing that 9 is important. Very good. And I heard someone else say it, so I gotta look for that GTA. River?
How many cents?
How many cents? Ooh, friends, how many cents are in one dime?
10.
There's 10 cents in a dime, right? So this is like 9 groups of 10, or your equation could be 9 times 10, right? Please write that on your boards. 9 times 10, or 9 groups of 10. Make sure that it's a 9 and not a P. I know that's kind of a tricky one at the beginning of the year, getting used to our numbers again. Make sure that 9 is facing the right way. Times 10, and oh my Lanta, I don't even know if you guys know this, but you don't even have to count by your tens. Do you know why?
Why?
Every time you multiply by 10, all you have to do is add a 0 to your count by. You want me to prove it? Let me show you.
I know.
What's
I know.
1 times 10?
10.
Oh, so it was a 1 with a 0? Okay. What's 5 times 10?
50.
50, so it's a 5 with a 0, right? Do you know what 9 times 10 is?
90.
It's 90, so it's a 9 with an extra 0. Even cooler, you know what 10 times 10 is?
100.
Oh, it's 10 with an extra 0 is 100. How cool is that trick?
Cool.
It makes our 10 stacks go way faster. You don't even have to do your finger count buys.
So it's
If you have a brain fart and you don't remember this trick, you can. You can still say, okay, 5 times 10, 5, or not 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
Or do that trick with your
It
fingers.
still works. It still works. But I can also think anything times 10, I add a 0. What's that fun rule?
Anything times 10 is with a 0.
Cool. I heard Emerson say that, so thank you, my friend, for helping out our class, but I need to hear that from everybody. So, focus, focus.
Everybody.
My rule is that anything times 10, I add a 0.
Anything times 10, add a 0.
Oh my goodness, that was so much better. So, for this one, that means that 9 times 10 would be equal to
90.
90 what?
90 cents.
Very good. 90 cents. Number 1 is solved. So you may erase.
Erase. Erase. Erase.
I think we're going to practice our odd problems today. Let's go ahead and have your numero trace.
Numero trace.
This one's about Jonah. Let's bless you. Bless you, bless you. If you would like to get some sanitizer, you may. Jonah picked 40 strawberries. He gave them to 10 of his friends. Each friend got the same number of strawberries. How many strawberries did each friend get? Oh no, don't let me catch you doodling because we've got warnings, right?
This is multiple.
Ay, ay, ay. I don't want more points.
This is division. It's time.
Read it again with me, please. Jonah picked 40 strawberries. He gave them to 10 of his friends. Each friend got the same number of strawberries. How many strawberries did each friend get? Kevin, you've been very patient. What's some key information here?
Almost division.
How do you know?
Because 40 times 10.
We can, but do you think they're going to make us multiply that big of a number already? Oh man, it's the beginning of the school year. They're not going to be that mean to us, so that's very smart to notice. If it's a really big number in your problem, you're probably dividing. Good observation, Kevin.
Or I could just do
Let me see if anybody else noticed some key information. I'm going to mark that 40 because he noticed that was a big number. What else, Ellie?
How many strawberries did they get?
Good. How many strawberries? What else, Hendrix? 10. Anything else? Keegan?
Each friend got the same number.
Oh, each friend got the same amount, which means that it's equal groups or equal shares, right? And each, yep. Okay, so you guys already determined it's going to be a division problem. You have numbers marked and you've already found your label. Are we ready?
Yes, we are.
Who thinks they know an equation to solve this problem? Miss Brielle.
40 divided by 10.
40 divided by 10. And I'm going to have you pause there because we haven't done this yet. We know that when we multiply by 10, we add a 0. So if when we flip things from multiplication and division, we kind of just do the opposite. If I add a 0 when I'm multiplying, what do you suppose I might do when I'm dividing?
You might get the wrong number.
When I multiply, I add a 0. So if I flip that, when I divide, maybe I'm going to... Riley?
I don't know.
Nope, I'm not going to add it again. Multiplying things get bigger, so I add a 0. Dividing things get smaller, so I'm going to...
Do equal shares.
Well, I will do equal shares. Let's go ahead and do equal shares. Start with the picture.
With the picture?
We are going to do that equal shares drawing, and if 40 is my big number to start with, where does that go?
On the top.
On top. So total 40 goes on top. Box it up so we know that that's what we started with. Then what? What's next? He gives all of these strawberries, he gives them to 10 friends. What does that mean, Miss Braylon? Yes, and does anybody remember my fancy language for that, the one with all the chains that connect? Equal shares. So let's go ahead and give it to 10 friends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I gotta come on, balance this out. 9, 10. Double check on your picture that you've got 10 groups. He shared it with 10 different friends. Okay, remember when I'm filling these in? Everybody has to get one first, and then they get another turn. Kind of like real life. So, count with me, and we're going to do it kind of speedy. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Oh, thank goodness I get to stop. How many did he end up giving to each friend? Tell you what, since you all know this one, be ready to share. And when I drop my waste time hand, you can shout out the answer. No. How many strawberries did each friend get?
4.
Hey, Kevin, way to remember the label. 4 strawberries. Please add that to your answer. And as you are finishing writing that long word strawberries,
Can you zoom in a little bit?
yes, I will. 4 strawberries. You know what? That's going to mess up the strawberries. Is going to stay tiny. So I can't really zoom in the words. Strawberries has the straw chunks. S-T-R-A-W. Get you the raw part. And then berries. You can sound that part out the best you can. Berries. So if you remember, while you're writing that word, I want you just listening here. I was talking to you at the beginning of this problem and I said, okay, so when we're multiplying, we get bigger. And so when we multiply by 10, we add a 0 to the answer, right? When we're dividing, since we're splitting it up, we end up with a smaller number. So instead of adding a 0, what did you notice about my beginning and my ending number?
We subtract the 0.
We take away a 0. So if I had 40 divided by 10, I take away the 40 0 and my answer is
4.
4. That means that if I had 30 divided by 10, since I'm dividing and getting smaller, I take 30 and I end up with
3.
3. What if I did 90 divided by 10?
9.
It's just 9. Do you see how that kind of works?
Yeah.
Those patterns help us out a lot with our 10 count guys, okay? Once you have that done, you may erase. We're moving on to numero 5. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit more this time, see if I can get it to fit. There we go. Alright. Okay. There were 80 students in the auditorium. There were 10 students in each row. How many rows of students were there? This time, I want you reading it with me, and if you hear key information, go ahead and stand up or sit down. Are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Read with me. There were 80 students in the auditorium. There were 10 students in each row. Oh, we're moving. Hadley, join us. We're moving. Your desk is fine. How many rows label of students were there? Oh, thank goodness it let us end with sitting down, huh? I better mark that information. Who can tell me something that you stood up or sat down on? Something that was key information? Rylan.
80.
There are 80 students. Very good. What else? Savannah? 10. We got our numbers. Mr. Dax, what else?
Rows.
Rows in each row, I'm going to say. Braylon.
The 80 and the 10 means, since the 80's first, it means it's going to be division.
Ooh, Braylon thinks since 80 is so big and it was the first number, we're probably going to be dividing. Good thinking. Kevin?
8 students.
Ooh, how many rows of students? So make sure the entire label is going to be rows of students. That's kind of sneaky because you're going to want to put students. And we've got to make sure we do rows of. So, friends, if you heard rows, some of you told me that's key information. What would be a great way to represent this problem? How do I represent rows? Who's awake? Who's ready to share? Mr. Skylar? Nope. Skylar, how would I represent my rows? What drawings do we do when there's rows and columns? Friend? An array. So they told me there's 10 students in each row. So will I put 10 in a row? Or are there 10 rows to stack?
10 rows. You're supposed to put
Are there 10 rows or 10 in each row?
10 in each row.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and make a row of 10. You please do the same. 1, 2, on your desk. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Always double check that you got all 10. Bingo. Oh my goodness, my friends. Guess what? There's 80 total. Do I want you to have to draw 80 dots?
8.
No, so I'm going to show you a new trick. Are you listening?
Yes,
We are going to learn something called a fast array. What's it called? Kevin, do you already know these?
Yeah.
How would I do? They you might have done lines in second grade. I think we do them a little bit different in third. I think you're on the right track. So go ahead and make a big loop for what we're missing. We want to know how many rows. So we're going to draw an empty loop here because that's our missing information. It's what we're going to find. How many rows? Because those are the ones that get lined up like buttons, right? So because there's 10 in a row, what do you suppose I can count by to make this a little speedier? Instead of drawing, I can count by 10. So there's already one. Count by 10s with me, and we're going to keep adding that. So 10, 20, 30, I can't hear you guys. 40,
50, 60, 70, 80.
Okay, so since there's 80 total, and I just counted by 10s, instead of drawing 10 in every single row, that would take me a long time. I can go ahead and just count by those 10s and see it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 10. That's my array. To know that my total inside would be how many?
80.
80, right? There were 80 total students, and we just organized them. We just arranged them into that fast array. Now here's what's sneaky, and we have to be really careful on, because Braylon already made an observation. She said, hey, we're starting with a really big number. We're probably going to do what, friends?
Division.
We're probably going to do division. So just because, excuse me, just because there's a multiplication sign in my picture, does that mean I'm multiplying?
No.
No, I started big. So I'm going to divide. Who thinks they know what this equation would look like? What information did I know? And then what would my answer be that I found? Miss River.
8 divided by 10 equals 80.
So be careful. Since you're dividing, you're totally on the right track, but since I'm dividing, I start big. So my first number is going to be
80.
80. And then I take that big number 80, and you're exactly right for the next step. I divide by 10, because we put them into rows of 10 to get our answer of 8. 8
Rows of students.
rows of students. Thank you for remembering the whole label. That was a sneaky one. We can't just put students, because there's actually 80 students, but they're in 8 rows of students.
How much?
8 rows of students. You guys probably want to see that label, huh? After that, you may erase.